25-year-old Jimmy isn't rich and popular, but he's working on it.
Being like, you guys gotta see what Jimmy's been up to. This guy's doing everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I just huge congratulations to everything you pulled off. I hope you feel proud of yourself.
Jimmy, bro, your videos and your production and the effort you put into your shit, I love your music. I know you're gonna make it someday.
What's next for me?
Growing up, always knew that I'd be successful, even though my family never ended up with wealth. Mom and dad did their best to give me what I needed. I could see
Jimmy's latest album, Do What Makes You Happy, is inspiring and novel. When first starting, his parents didn't even know he made music until he released Hokum back in 2015, a mixtape that foreshadowed his left-to-center approach towards creating art. Now Jimmy's starting to see some traction after the recent success of his previous full-length LP, Ghettoland, that spawned the breakout hit Uncultured.
I challenge all of y'all to go and smile more. In America, they do us dirty like the tile floor.
Recreated scenes and cover arts from some of my favorite artists and albums, and paired it with the song where I challenged the average hip-hop fan's beliefs and how they form relationships with the artists they love. The song and video was like, alright, I have something to say, but they won't listen to me because I'm nobody. I'm not lit. I'm not affiliated with anyone who's lit, so here, let me put on this mask and maybe you'll listen to this guy and that guy instead.
For the love of God, stop worshiping these rap niggas. You want culture, you just another Bentayga in the driveway. What you driven by?
Jimmy's parents were supportive of his creative endeavors. While watching his older brother, another rapper named Young Octane, make music, he kept the fact he made music a secret from his family throughout high school until he felt his skill made it to a conceivable level. While living with his father in North Long Beach, California, when Jimmy would get in trouble for cracking one too many jokes at school, his punishment would be to write a multi-page book report on a historical black civil rights figure. Jimmy balances that intergenerational mission for freedom with a saturated, detail-oriented, and bold demeanor in his creative direction.
I've always wanted to be someone who would make a larger impact on my family, my community, and the world. I've always been that guy to take a step back and try to look at things on a macro level rather than a smaller scale. Like, teach me how to fish, don't give me anything. I want to be able to fix issues for the long term and the greater good rather than that temporary fix. I love solving complex issues. That's my thing.
It's only worth what you're willing to give up for it. Is it worth getting hurt again? Yeah. Going to jail? Yep. Getting killed? Yes, sir. Kissing a man? Yeah. Oh, no. Whoa. Kissing a man, I mean, if it feels natural and that's what you're into, I mean. No, that don't count.
He also loves making people laugh and shocking them in awe.
Super early on, I was a little depressed and to myself a lot, but around the end of elementary, beginning of middle school, I started to evolve a little more. I've always been a bit of a recluse in the back of the class with my headphones on. I've always been a bit of a class clown. I've always wanted to make people laugh, but when shit gets serious, I also love to exceed their expectations of me. I was always one of the kids who would finish their tests the fastest and act goofy as fuck and let everyone think I'm dumb, but then them results come in and I'm in the top 3 of the whole class. Growing up, I looked at Dave Chappelle and watched Family Guy and Robot Chicken and the Boondocks. Even if I didn't understand a lot of it at the time, I just liked how raw and crass and genuinely hilarious all those things were, while also sometimes making a statement. It inspired me to bring that sort of energy with me in whatever I ended up doing.
Jimmy ended up being into art, especially music. His favorite songs early on ranged all the way from Young Money and the Black Eyed Peas, to West Coast classics and oldies, to Katy Perry and Group Love. But just when Jimmy reached his formative years, hip-hop took a turn, entering what is now known as the blog era.
I remember sitting in the living room with my friend Chris one day, and we looked up at the TV. It was on MTV, and this black dude who couldn't have been that much older than us was wearing fucking gold chains and eating a roach and dissing Jesus and shit. We were like, whoa, nigga, what? Our fucking heads exploded. We'd never seen anything like it. I was hooked. I wanted to know more about this world I had no clue about.
Jimmy started downloading mixtapes on Dat Piff onto his iPod from Wiz Khalifa, Big Sean, ASAP Mob, Odd Future, Childish Gambino, and more. Becoming more isolated from a troubled environment at home, the more artists he found that embodied that bold and funny yet passionate energy he enjoyed, the deeper he fell in love with wanting to make his own music. After watching his older brother score Scott Pilgrim vs. the World for a college assignment, finding out other kids his age were making music already in high school, and moving to East Las Vegas with his mother in the summer of 2013, Jimmy made the decision to pursue this life he'd only seen through a phone screen.
I wanted to change my life and the ones around me's lives and have fun without following anyone else's rules. I realized I could do that through music, and I was sold, so I just started doing it.
It's rolling.
However, in the beginning, there was a significant learning curve. Born from two parents who lived a more street lifestyle in Compton, California and Las Vegas, Nevada, Jimmy was encouraged to do the exact opposite and receive an education to live a better life than them. So after graduating high school, he left Vegas to go to college in Denver, as per his father's wishes, and his need to separate himself from an increasingly hostile household.
I literally only went because it was programmed in my brain for years by my parents that I was going to college and becoming something that paid good, like an engineer. I got accepted on a full ride scholarship, and living with my mom became difficult because she had bipolar disorder and would stop taking her medication from time to time. So I was like, fuck it. Free school, independence, new state. Sign me up, get me out of here.
Jimmy began working on projects from his dorm room, watching people his age like XXXTentacion and Lil Yachty make waves, eventually coming to the conclusion college just wasn't meant for him and that it was holding his career back.
I remember starting my second semester sitting in a math class, watching everyone talk before the professor walked in, and it was just like, wow. None of this has anything to do with anything I want to do at all. And if I'm wasting my time here trying to establish plan B, what time do I have for plan A? So I didn't come back.
Jimmy would skip the remainder of his second semester and eventually dropping out of college altogether to pursue music. After returning to Las Vegas to live with his mother again, a 19-year-old Jimmy would find himself reestablishing a group he began forming in high school by the name of Prism Tribe, an alternative hip-hop collective made up of members from across the U.S. that he met on the internet through Twitter and SoundCloud and in high school.
Prism Tribe rolling strong. Let's get it. Red Dot Extension make different decisions. Have your ass
Skating in Hollywood. I mean, we jolly good.
After receiving a promising call from an A&R, this motivated the group to come together for a short amount of time to create and release their first mixtape, Prism Tribe Worldwide Southside Everywhere Volume 1 in 2018.
Southside ass cheese on the fucking rocks, hype dog music, fuck on your bitch like whoa whoa, I ain't even know.
However, the group fell short of their target, with the out-of-state members returning to their respective homes and Jimmy back on his own again until the next album meetup. In this time, Jimmy began establishing himself as an artist once again, releasing singles and EPs while he couch surfed, worked dead-end jobs, and eventually slept in the car his father gave him.
the affection, I might need money. Fuck the flowers, niggas cowards. Lose you.
My mom passed in 2018. I had to plan the whole funeral myself at the young age of 20. After that, it just kind of set off this string of events because my father ended up losing everything after. I moved back to LA with the homie Sandus and ended up living at some random dude's house for a while. My older brother ended up getting shot 5 times and survived. Mind you, this is all within the same first year I got with Eve. And she's just watching me go through these super difficult, super awkward circumstances. And I'm just like, man, this shit is terrible. I have to change this shit, man. It depressed me.
After 2 years of struggling to understand the workings of the entertainment business, being led on by A&Rs, coming close to meeting his idols, reuniting, then parting ways with the remaining members of Prism Tribe, coming up on money in the pandemic, and spending it all on the promotion of his album Gnarly, now Jimmy is fresh off his most popular effort yet.
New Jimmy album, Ghetto Land, a prolific artist who takes pride in the fact that he's kind of a DIY guy when it comes to not just his music, but also his music videos, visuals.
This is it. This is where the magic happens.
Driven by his persistence and his goal to reverse the generational curse of poverty on his family, Jimmy managed to gain the attention of a corner of the internet all on his own. Writing, producing, performing, mixing, and mastering all his own music, directing and editing all his own videos, designing all of his own graphics, cover arts, and websites, and managing, promoting, and marketing his own brand himself, he's proving it's possible to reach new heights as an artist in the social media age without a team or a label behind you.
One of my goals is to supply the world, especially the people who look like me and come from where I come from, the freedom to be who they want to be in this world before their time on earth is done. Before me, a Pharrell Williams and a Kanye West passed that message on to a generation, and that reached to Tyler Okoma. Then he passed the baton on to the generation after him, and now there's a Jimmy Poindexter. Now it's my turn to represent that and pass the baton to the next after me.
Jimmy's public declaration of his ambitious goals make him seem almost insane at times. However, it's the very thing that's opened doors for him. After releasing 4 episodes of his own self-produced web series, Ghettoland, on YouTube, and taking control of his own narrative, putting out his own press content online, Jimmy grew his accounts from just under 1,500 followers on Instagram, 100 monthly listeners on Spotify, and 300 subscribers on YouTube to 19,000 followers, 60,000 monthly listeners, and over 10,000 subscribers in just under 2 to 3 months. This is an impressive feat for a one-man band with no budget.
I think when your end goal is something so big that could really change so many people's lives and how they see things, fame and money and all that shit is just a byproduct. It's a milestone on the way to completing the real mission. And you just can't be ignored by the masses when you're making that happen, because that's huge. That's bigger than just another album, bigger than hip hop, bigger than music, bigger than winning an award. It's real social change that affects a group of people that you could actually see. And that's what I'm aiming for. There was no one and nothing out there to help someone like me or provide a blueprint. So when I have the tools I need, I'm making that happen. When I was young, me and my mama had beef.
Jimmy is in hot pursuit of living the life he dreamed of as an ambiverted creative teenager, and he's hungrier than ever before. His new album, Do What Makes You Happy, comes only 4 months after the release of Ghettoland. Acknowledging that people may be jarred by how fast his turnaround time is, Jimmy explains that he's still broke and unknown, so he must continue establishing himself in the culture. Pair that with the fact he promoted Ghettoland for a whole year prior to releasing it, it makes sense of how eager he was to move on with the next phase of his career. The mission for Do What Makes You Happy, found on the official website for the album, is simple and straightforward: to encourage the youth and the boomers worldwide to do what makes them happy unapologetically. The more people we have focused on attracting their own happiness, the less assholes with nothing else better to do but talk shit and spread hate we'll have.
Some old people think it's too late for them, and for some maybe it is, I get that, but that's not the case generally speaking. The way I see it, if your body still works and you have all your limbs and you have the audacity, you can still pursue that life you may see for yourself, and all it takes is a young and dumb guy like me to tell them to say fuck whatever they have going on and jump, take a risk. Freedom is in demand in every aspect of the world. If I don't supply it to the people, I probably combust into ashes.